Welcome to the Internet Entrepreneur School, and welcome to this week's lesson on how to make your money work for you. More specifically, we'll be talking about how to understand the difference of trading value for money rather than time for money. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is how to make your money work for you. This four-boxed graph here explains the different types of people within the Western world. This is taken from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book. It's called a cash flow quadrant, and I strongly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. So, the first type of people, which make up the majority of people, are the employed. They are the people who trade their time for money. They pay tax and then get paid on a pay-as-you-earn tax scheme. They have an income threshold or salary that's based on a pre-arrangement between the interviewer and the interviewee, and the only way they can increase their money is by either getting a pay rise, a bonus, or perhaps working overtime. The next group of people are the self-employed or specialists. These people, again, most of them trade time for money. They get paid and then pay tax, rather than paying tax and then getting paid, which we'll talk about later on. They have an income threshold, unfortunately, too, because they only have so much time in a day, and there's only so much they can charge to a customer that's fair for the customer to have their service or their product. So the next group of people are business owners. These people trade value for money rather than time. They get paid and then pay tax. Their income is flexible. They earn passive income, which we'll talk about next. They pay people to work for them, and they work on the business rather than in the business. And finally, the last group of people are investors. These are people who invest money to make money. Again, they get paid and then pay tax. Their income is flexible. The more they put in, the more they get back. And most of their money is entirely passive. So, how do you go from the left-hand side to the right-hand side? Well, the first thing you need to know is you need to understand your finances and understand how money works. Here's a typical basic salary, income and expense and cash flow form for a normal person. It's a very basic, streamlined version, I know, but play with it. So, this person earns a salary of £1,500 a month. Their expenses go towards their mortgage, food, utilities, petrol, clothing, your typical things. And ultimately, once their expenses are taken away from their income, they're left with a cash flow of plus £300. Now, if they were to apply the principles that we talked about last week, then they would split that cash flow into the four different pots of money to help them grow as a person, to allow them to spend money when they need to reward themselves for working hard, and to dream for the bigger future and invest. So, ways in which you can increase that cash flow is to increase your income. But how do you do that? A lot of people will, if I ask you the question, how do you earn money? How do you earn money? Most people will say, find another job. There are different ways to do it. The second way to do it is to reduce your expenses. So if you can find ways of reducing your expenses, you're not spending so much on perhaps your phone bill, or you're not spending so much on your broadband bill, or you've reduced your mileage, or anything like that, you can reduce your expenses. But ultimately, there's a really clever way of doing it, and that's to increase what's called your passive income. So by increasing your passive income, you put money into a vehicle or a system that creates you money that you don't have to spend your time updating, or you don't have to spend your time constantly towards it to earn yourself more income. So what is passive income, and what are different types of passive income? So the first type of passive income is property investors. Now, these are people who buy a property or put a down payment on a property, and then they rent the house out to people who then pay them money, which they then use to put some of it towards their mortgage, and some of it they then take as a profit. Obviously, that's a very basic form. The next group of people, or the next type of passive income, are people who invest in the stock market. Again, there's two different types of stocks and shares, but there are some that you can pay dividends, basically you pay money towards the company to allow them to invest into new equipment or into new marketing strategies or whatever they invest the money into, increasing their profit, and by increasing their profit they're then able to give you a return back for your money. There's private investments that you can arrange between certain people or funds. Renting is a great way to earn a type of passive income. If you can rent space, or you can rent equipment, or you can rent digital space, a lot of good things come from renting. And finally, the Internet Entrepreneur School. Why we teach a form of passive income? Well, the type of passive income we teach is called digital information products. So what that is we create a product that's digital, in other words it's on the internet. It's an information product, so it's a solution to somebody's problem, but it's made entirely out of text, or like a PDF document, or an ebook, let's say. And what happens is you sell that product up on the internet, so whether somebody comes across it now, or if they come across it in 3 months time or 3 years time, they can still buy the product and you still don't have to put anything else towards it. It's an automated system. Okay, so if you'd like to learn any more about what we do, we teach it at the internetentrepreneurschool.co.uk. Please let us know how you found this lesson, whether it was valuable to you or not. We'll talk a lot more next week and in the next coming weeks about specifically in more depth different types of investments that you can do that's really simple to do and not get overwhelmed by these kind of things. So thanks for listening. Let us know what you think and speak to you soon.